as usual, the computer up, so just bear with. But good evening, one and all. Just enlarge that. Right, I just need to do something for Julie. Just bear with me a minute. There we go. I've done it, Julie. So you should be in blue now. It's just one other thing that I need to do. Won't be a sec. Okay, that's that bit done, that's that bit done. Okay, ladies, and any gents that may be watching, though I'm not sure about that one. Bonjour, mon ami Karen. So, as you can see, Max, Disflop, Natalie, and Maureen, if she makes it, have all turned blue. They're also spanners now, as well as Tracy. So I decided to make the moderators from the Facebook group into moderators on the live chat videos, simply because if one of them can't make it, at least there's someone just keeping their eye out. Well, that's it now. You see, they can't take the mickey out of our Tracy anymore, because she's not the only spanner in the room. Hiya, Rosemary. How lovely to see you. Hello there, Teresa. And Denise, first time catching you live. Well, I'm glad you caught me. I'm a big piece to catch, though. Name is Sturdy's a fake mod. Now that's cheating. Oh dear. Is this payback, Rosemary, from me watching your lives and just being like yabba 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 on yours? Mind you, I have to say, you know, when Susan commented about me when she joined me on one of my lives, and I said, oh, Hottie Popo, I love it. And she went, yeah, she said my name. I didn't realise that was Susan, because I hadn't connected at that point that Hottie was Susan and Susan was Hottie. Anyway, you'll know what I mean. Keeping an eye on themselves in the naughty corner. Well, hopefully, you see, now they've got this sort of sense of power that they'll all start behaving themselves. There you go. Look, Maureen's also got a spanner as well now. So yeah, so hopefully they'll all start behaving and no one will end up in the naughty corner, although, you know, I'm not holding my breath. I know what they're like. I'm just not holding my breath. Of course, boss. Yeah, like I'm the boss of you lot. I've no chance. Come along every so often and go, just to let you know. Hi there, Nancy. Power hasn't gone to our heads. They're lying. Oh, there you go. You see, you can join Rosemary in the naughty corner. Oh dear. Well, how am I doing? Yeah, I cricked my neck. I don't know whether that's the same terminology that you use in America or anywhere else in the world, but you know when your muscle suddenly goes like, it cricked it in the night, and I woke up sort of early hours of the morning, writhing in agony, as you do. And I'd cricked the muscle in my neck, but it's gone up into just underneath the base of my skull. It's affected the bone. You know, when you feel behind your ear and there's a bone. So it's affected that, and it's gone down into my shoulder. So that's why you can't actually see me tonight, because my head is cocked to one side because I can't straighten it up properly yet. But I have been in agony with it, because every time I've moved my head, every time I've coughed, of course it's affected me whilst I've been sleeping, because every time I turned over it was like, it's been giving me headaches. It's easing off a little bit now, but I bet you're glad that you asked now, aren't you? Oh dear. Don't tell them that, Teresa. No, don't. No, it'll go straight to their heads. They'll be thinking that they're funny. They'll carry on. Oh dear. Oh, I've done all of that, Nancy. I've had a water bottle on. I've been on ibuprofen. I've rubbed special cream into my neck. Oh, don't you worry, Rosemary. You won't be over there on your own. Chiropractor. Phew. No. It'll ease off. They always do, don't they? You just need to woosah. And eventually it is relieving itself. It is sort of mellowing out a little bit now. But it's still not quite right. Yeah, looks like they're having a conversation amongst themselves, you see. They're not taking care of the guests, are they? They're just yabba, yabba, yabba between themselves. Look. It's always the same. Always the same. Okay, I actually don't want to keep you for too long tonight, because this was, I only made a decision sort of, what, late morning, early afternoon, late morning I think it was. Oh, a massage would be lovely, Karen, but I haven't got no one here to give me a massage. And I can't stretch my arms up high enough because of the crick in my neck to get round to my own neck to massage myself. I need a nice younger man. And unfortunately, there's none that live round here. I've had a look. Yeah, so I don't want to keep you too long tonight, but I just wanted to come on and show you. Hang on a minute, Natalie. Oh, here she is. Susan's been lurking. See, now I know who you are, Hottie. I hadn't connected Hottie and Susan together, but I've been looking. I've been doing my own private research on you all. Anyway, welcome, Susan. Nice to see you. To see ya. Nice. Yeah, I wanted to show off some of the new products that I've purchased recently. I treated myself. But in turn, it will treat you as well. Because obviously I will be showing you how I'm going to be using some of these things. She's following you round, Rosemary. That's what it is. So let's get on with some of the things that I've been buying. So I bought myself some really lovely, very, very fine paintbrushes. And in fact, let's see if I can just show you one up close. Look how tiny that is. Teeny, teeny, tiny. That's for if I'm doing faces and I decide to do eyelashes. Yeah, that's not happening. Can anyone read my palm? Am I going to live a long life? But yeah, so there's some really fine. Here's another one. Hang on, let me just take it out of the package. There's another one, look. They're really fine. So I got myself a selection of those because I'm trying to build up my selection of paintbrushes because I do want to be doing a little bit more on the mixed media side because of the Explore journal. Just bear with me 1 second, I'll get it out. So because of this Explore journal, that's why I've sort of got some of these things as well, and I've got some more stuff coming. And in case none of you have seen it before, when I was at school and we were taking our exams, I'll give you a quick story. When I was taking my exams, I wanted to take art. My dad decided, no, I've got to take all academic subjects, and so I didn't get to study my art. But I went to work in the drawing office for British Telecom, and we used to draw on this special plastic film because there was no computers in those days, no CAD or anything like that. It was all done by hand, and we used to draw the plans for the inside of the telecoms buildings. So I kind of got my way in the end a little bit, but we were getting more and more graphics work into the studio, so I went to go and study graphics. But I then met my future husband and married him, and I'm now separated from him. I've been for a long time, and I suddenly thought, after watching quite a few other videos, Rosemary being one of them, I thought, well, there's no reason why I can't study art for myself now. So I decided that that's what I was going to do, and explore is my word for this year, because I moved into a new home. I need to explore where I'm living. I need to explore more techniques and painting and all these different things. So I've created this Explore journal. Now, the reason why I'm also showing you this now is also because I ordered this, and I couldn't go any further with this because I got this stamp. Let me just move that out of the way so that you can see it better. Because if you've watched any of the previous videos, you will know that I'm making a study. My first project in my art book is based around this image here, the bigger version of it there. And I needed a tree. And can you believe, out of all the stamps that I own, I don't have a tree. So I purchased this stamp because it's got the single tree here and it's got a double tree here. So at least now I can carry on working in my Explore book. So that's what I got that for. But as I say, couldn't go any further with it. So I got those. Got my paint brushes. I purchased some Distress Oxides. Now, I'm a great believer, but maybe it's because I live in Yorkshire and we're a bit tight with our money, or we're known to be a bit tight with our money in Yorkshire. I don't want to be a collector of all the Tim Holtz inks, of all the Stays-On inks, of all the, you could just keep going on and on and on, couldn't you? So I pick and choose inks that I know that I will use. So I have a few, maybe 10 or 15 distress inks, and then I already own 3 or 4 of the oxides, but I knew that I wanted a slightly larger colour palette, so I chose Salvage Patina and Peeled Paint. And look, I've been good, I've not even unwrapped them yet. How good am I? I've ordered Faded Jeans and Pumice Stone. I ordered Scattered Straw and Rusty Hinge. And I ordered Seedless Preserves, which will go nicely with the colours that I've already got. So I've got a basic colour palette now of the Distress Oxides. As I say, I don't really want to experiment too much more with these, because they'll just sit in a drawer. They'll look very pretty, but they'll just be sat in a drawer doing sod all. And my money is too precious to me to have stuff just sat in a drawer. So I treated myself to those, again, partly for my Explore journal so that I can do some work on that. I also got myself a distress paint because I've watched a few of Mr. Tim's reveal videos, you know, where he's done there. And this is the new colour for this month. Ta-da! And there were a couple of projects that, because what he does, he shows the ink colours and, you know, how it fits into the palette of all the rest of the inks, blah, blah, blah. Goes on and on and on with that. And then towards the end, he shows samples that his design team have made. And one of the projects that I saw specifically used the distress paint with the antique bronze, together with one of these distress oxides. Which one? Don't know. Can't remember, so I'll have to go back and go and have a look. But I did purchase it because I saw a project on there that I really, really liked. So, the other thing I then bought, and I'm really intrigued to try these out, I got some walnut doobies crystals. Walnut crystals. So instead of using coffee to do coffee dyed papers, so to me, not that you'll be able to tell because of the state of my ink pad, so to me coffee dyed paper is like vintage photo, whereas these walnut crystals, and again you won't be able to tell, will be like walnut stain. So it's going to be a lot darker, and again I've ordered a special paint to go with these because I've seen another technique that I want to have a little play with, which uses the crystals together with this acrylic paint. So I'm going to be using those for that, as well as, I'm going to say coffee dyeing, but not coffee dyeing, walnut dyeing. So I'm going to have a little play with those, so I'll invite you along with that. Oh, is that what you use them with as well, Rosemary? Was the eco prints? Tim Holtz owes you a neck massage. Oh, wouldn't that be lovely? Though I doubt very much if he'll travel all of this way. The other thing is that I have got myself a small jelly plate. I haven't got a big one because, again, I knew that I don't want to make loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of painty papers. I love them, but I don't want to make a ton of them. I've got enough paper as it is to last me a lifetime. Now I am going to be doing some stuff with some painted papers, but when I purchased my jelly plate, I just thought I'll get a medium-sized one because, you know, I'm not going to need a big one, and it will just create enough for me to give me something to play with. And I'd already got a brayer, but it was a hard one. And again, I watching Mr. Tim. He has a it's costing me a small fortune, that man. So I bought the small distress brayer. Now I was going to go for the medium one, but couldn't find any. They were like hen's teeth, you know. Couldn't find them anyway. So I got myself a small distress sprayer, and I thought, well, you know, I've only got a medium-sized jelly plate anyway, so maybe I don't need the medium one, and this one will do, and it'll give me a chance to try this out in comparison to the other one that I already own, which was a much cheaper version. But as I say, it's got a hard roller on, the one that I've already got. And then it's fatal watching these videos, I tell you. I was watching another video and the lady used this stamp, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And again, this was something else. I had to pause the video, I had to look in real close. I could see that it was Stamperia, but I couldn't see a name on the packaging or anything. I searched high and low for this. Again, couldn't naturally find it. So, for those of you that do want to go searching, I can't see that it's got an actual name. It probably has got one, but it's not on the packaging. But this is the number, or the letter, or the code. WTK CC 125 and it's by Stamperia. I'm just looking to see if... No. I don't know if anyone else knows the name of this. But there you go. So yes, I had difficulty in finding it, but I did eventually come across it at one shop. It wasn't on Amazon, it wasn't on eBay. Spent an hour searching for that one. And then on one of Mr. Tim's Facebook groups, one of the ladies showed a piece that she had created with the 3D texture fade doily. Oh, and it was beautiful. Really lovely. So, again, look. I've been really restrained. Haven't even opened it to have a look at it. I don't know why, but the gel plate makes me nervous. That's from Kim. Yeah, you see, I think a lot of people are a bit nervous, but I think it's one of those things that once you start, and I'm going to talk to you... Oh, sorry, knocking you. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about it in a sec. Once you start, I think it'll be one of those things that you'll think, oh, this is a doddle. So yeah, I'm intrigued to try that one out. So those are my new toys that I've got. Better late than never, Cindy. Welcome. If you think about it, when we were young, snappers, Sherlock Tinson. Oh look, I've split the packaging now. Okay, forget that bit. The first cooking that we ever probably did was maybe on Mother's Day, Father's Day, Grandmother's Day, whichever. And you used to do your mum some toast and a cup of tea and take it up to her in bed and go, Happy Mother's Day. And you always burnt the toast. You know, she was always expecting you to burn that toast. When we become slightly older, maybe teenagers, maybe young adults, we start to do some more cooking and baking. You tell me anyone who, when they first started out doing cooking, that they were perfectionists at it. You can't. Because I bet you, a pound to a pinch of salt, you were rubbish at it. And doing a cooked breakfast, getting the timing right for your sausage, your bacon, your eggs, your baked pudding, your beans, your toast, that great big long list to be able to make a cooked breakfast. What's betting that your eggs were cooked but your sausages were raw? It's like anything in life. You're never any good at it the first few times you do it. And it takes practice and perseverance to get there. And it's the same with any technique, anything new to you, doing things like the gel plate. Yes, it is, Susan, it's in the Alchemy collection, the Stamperia stamp. It's like anything that's new to you. You've got to give it a go, otherwise you'll never know, will you? For a start off. And it's only through practice and doing it more regularly that you start to get a bit better at it. So that's just something to sort of bear in mind. Okay, I'm going to have a slurp of my tea because it's sat here at the side of me going cold. So bear with me one sec. Ooh, it's not that cold. And I need to move this light out the way. Now I've shown you some of my new goodies. There's more to come. There's more new goodies to come. Oh, blimey. I haven't got any spare space. Oh no, put them there. And let's move you over there as well. And you. There we go. Nice clear work surface. Let me just straighten up my camera again, because I knocked it earlier. Let me just have a little read. That 3D embossing folder looks really interesting. It looks gorgeous. I tell you, looks gorgeous. been cooking for decades and still can't get things coordinated for time. Oh, I still mess things up even now, but I mean, in comparison to when I was a young adult, I remember when I lived in Birmingham. So if you imagine that that's England, right? So Scotland's up here, London's down here, Birmingham's here, and Yorkshire is there, which is where I live now. Okay. My ex-hubby was from Yorkshire, but I lived in Birmingham, and we used to see it. We used to travel to each other every other weekend. We'd take it in turns. He would come to me, I would go to him, and we courted that way for a few months. Sorry, having a slurp of tea. We courted that way for a few months. Anyway, one time he came down to come and see me, and I was cooking beef bourguignon. Get me, right? I was 19, cooking beef bourguignon. Anyway, and baked potatoes. That was the other thing I did with it. Beef bourguignon and baked potatoes. Anyway, he never showed up. He was late. So I was really worried that there was a problem at the train station. So I gets in a taxi. I go all the way to the train station. No sign of him. His train had arrived. So I travelled all the way back to the house to find that he'd broken into the house. He'd arrived not long after I'd left. And of course, by the time I'd done that, I dished up this beef bourguignon. The baked potatoes had cooked to the point where it was skin, no potato. All the potato had disintegrated because I hadn't turned the oven off. The beef bourguignon was a few squares, a few charcoal lumps of beef in the bottom of the pot. And I was like, you bloody well eating that, I tell you. Slaved over hot stove for that. Oh dear. So yeah, that was my first attempt at cooking a highfalutin dinner. Okay, I want to get onto this project because, as I say, I don't want to keep you for too long. Now, today on the Facebook group, I've put a link up to The Works, which is a store in the UK. Yeah, he still married me, Maureen. I think you were desperate. So, it's a store that's in the UK only. So, unfortunately, if you live in another country, you're not going to get the opportunity to get these. But I was having a look at their online website. I made a jelly for our first tea and it didn't set. Oh, Julie, sloppy jelly. Blah, blah, blah. So, on the Works website, they have got some 2022 calendars, you know, the big square ones as well as the long narrow ones, with beautiful pictures in. But also with some of them, they have a diary with the calendar as well for 2022. And they're selling them at 25p, which is about, let me just think, 35 to 40 cents, I guess, round about that. So even if you don't want the diary, you could get it for the calendar because you could cut out the pictures from out of the calendar. But I'm going to show you something that I'm doing with one of my diaries. Good evening, Jackie. Nice to see you. So there is a reason why I've chosen to use this as this journal for my collaging, all right? And it's because the pages are stitched in. Now then, I've sectioned one off. Okay, so can you see? Look, they're all stitched. So you can still get journals diaries cheap anyway. When it's sort of the middle of the year, they tend to sort of sell them off dead cheap. or you can get them from the local pound shop. Diaries do tend to be cheap, but the good thing is that they're stitched signatures. Now, you can be particular and count how many pages there are in each signature if you want. Just something you need to be aware of, where there is one signature and another signature, it is more than likely they will have put a light line of glue down between the two signatures, and the pages are slightly stuck together. Right, so that's just something to bear in mind. Now then, when it comes to doing any kind of art journaling in any kind of book, you tend to find that people stick pages together to make them stronger. My thought, even though this is a relatively flimsy paper, by the time I've added papers on here, and possibly even papers on this side, that's 3 layers of papers. Your journals are amazingly awesome. Thank you, Raggedy Girl. I'll pay you that £5 later. Shh, don't tell no one. Thank you. So I always wonder why, you know, people join the pages together if they're going to be adding more paper on each side. If you're going to be painting on it, that's slightly different, because if I was to paint on top of this, the paper would just disintegrate, because it's relatively thin paper. You know, it's a cheap book. Excuse me. Now, because I'm going to be adding papers to these pages, if I left all the pages within this journal, by the time I came to finishing off the journal, even halfway through the journal, it would be a really big alligator mouth. And so I'm actually going to pull out some of the pages out of the signature, and this is where it being stitched in comes in really handy. Raggedy Girl, you stole my line and Carol paid me a tenner. Jackie, shh, told you, it was a secret. Now, a good way of telling, if you can't find your signature straight away, a good way of telling that it is actually stitched in is you'll tend to find that the stitching sort of starts here and ends here. So it means that this top bit and this bottom bit are not stitched in place. If it's glued in, the whole page will be stuck from top to bottom, right? But if I lift this up, you can see, look, that this bit here is loose, and that's because it's stitched in. So if you can do that, you'll tend to find that it's a stitched in signature, and so you should be able to find the place where the stitches are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can you see? Look, I've still got this bend here, so that's still the same signature. 7, 8, and then it separates. So that's the start of the next signature, and just here it's glued. Alright, it's only a very slight line of glue, but I can do that, look, and I've got this space, so I know that there's 8 pages within the signature. Now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pull out 4 pages. Right, so 1, 2, 3, come on, number 4. Come in number 4, your time is up. Right, so I'm going to pull out these 4 pages here. You don't have to pull out 4. You will need to make the decision for yourself exactly how many you want to pull out. But I'm going to pull 4 out. And I can use those pages in another journal. Just going to get rid of that little teeny tiny bit there. So I'm going to pull that out. And there's a bit there as well. Now with pulling the pages out, the stitching is now a little bit slack. So I've got my micropore, which, as you know, if you're a regular viewer, I do like my micropore. or for you it might be called surgical tape. And I do have a video on it because I had so many people going, what's micropore? Well, it's this stuff. And I like it because it sticks better than washi tape. Actually, let me just clip that top edge off so I've got a nice straight line. There up, stuck to my nails. Go off. There we go. So stick one half to there. Trim that off. And then stick the other half to the other side of the page. And that will now just support those stitches a little bit because I've weakened them because I've removed so many. I had one thin page journal. I was going to glue the pages to make them sturdy. Instead I ran micropore tape, there you go, down the bend at the spine between the pages to strengthen it to hold the weight of the decorated pages. Well done there, Brenda. Okay, so I've done that to support the stitches. Now then, it also means that the rest of them are also a little bit more on the loose side, right? Because they were obviously stitched in nice and tight. So as Brenda's just said in chat, you can add more tape to these if you so wished. But it depends what you're going to do with them, you know. I'm going to be collaging mine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bit of collaging at the front, then a bit of collaging at the back, excuse me, and then a bit of collage in the middle, right? So that I'm constantly going backwards and forwards between the front and the back and the middle, because it will help to keep the spine supported here. If I just worked constantly from the front right the way through to the back, my spine would end up being all skewy like that, okay, and all distorted. It will still distort a bit, but it won't distort as much, okay. So a little bit at the front, a little bit at the back, and a little bit in the middle. So I've still got a couple of signatures here that I need to take some of the pages out of, but you've got the idea from me just doing that one signature there, how to go about doing the rest of it. Let me just put, I wish I'd kept my 2020 diary, it was empty. Yeah, micropore tape is, that's its name. Micropore, you might know it as surgical tape. It's a paper tape that is used hospitals and doctors, so that if you're allergic to plasters, put it on your poorly. There you go. So it's for that, really. But it's paper tape that is stronger than washi tape, and the glue is stronger. You know, it's still destructible. You can still rip into it. So don't feel that it's an indestructible paper tape, because it's not. But the glue is definitely stronger on the micropore. And because it's a paper tape, it means that I can tape on, glue on top of it, paint on top of it as well. Okay, so there we go. There we go. I've got more. There's more. I've tried to neaten them up a bit before the video. This was after I've been working on projects. What I've at the side of me, I've got a bin, and as I'm working on the projects, I put my rubbish in the bin, but then I go through my bin before I empty it to go into the dustbins outside, and I rummage through for any little bits. If there's any obvious bits, I'll automatically put them straight into this pot here or this pot. So this is the smaller pieces and this is the larger pieces. But I'll search through the bin for the likes of these, because at the time I don't feel any kind of love for them and I just throw them away. Now, Again, if you're a regular follower of mine, you'll know about my untin tin, UNTIN, untin tin. I'm not going to go into an explanation now. That can be saved for another time. So I've got scraps all over the place, but these are the ones that I've got left over from projects that I have recently been working on, and I've got all these leftover bits and pieces, and I'm getting to the point where it's like, do you know what? I'm fed up of them. I'm filling this tub up, but I'm not doing anything with them. And so what I decided is that this diary, because it's dead cheap, I'm going to be sticking some of those pieces into here. So I'm making miniature collage pages, all right, just to get rid of the scraps. So I'm having that at the side of me, so that as I finish a project and I'm clearing up my table, if I've got any bits, I'm sticking them straight into this book. That's the plan. Yeah, whether that'll happen or not, I don't know. It might be a case of I build this up to this stage again and then go about sticking some in. Excuse me. What are you going to do with them, Carol? I don't know yet. Haven't got a clue what I'm going to do with them, but it gets rid of this. Well, it will do when I've stuck all these in here. But what I'm doing is I'm doing a double page spread, but I'm leaving the back sides empty, so that if I really feel that I want to rip this page out and use it, because I've worked out that for this size page, if I cut it about 2/3 of the way up, I've got enough there for a postcard size, and then this piece that's left, I could cut it in half and I've got 2 tags. All right, so, and they're all colour coordinated. All right, so that's the other thing that I'm doing. I am not going to be just sticking them in randomly, because if I'm working on a project, I'll find that they're probably colour coordinated anyway. So this is, yeah, look, you can tell, look, I used to, that's as much of me writing in a diary. That's all I ever used to do. And then that's another one. So I've stuck those in. I haven't done anything else to them. I haven't played about with adding any extra embellishments to them, because I'll do that when I pull them out. Trudine's just put scan them to make digital images. I can't do that, Trudine, because some of these papers are not mine. So like this here is a Tim Holtz, this is a Tim Holtz, and they are copyrighted, and so it means that I can't actually scan these. If I'm using my own digital papers, that's a different kettle of fish, because they're my designs. But these I can't do. This is a piece from a magazine. In fact, look, this needs gluing down a bit. It's come a bit loose because it's on wallpaper. Okay, so it just means that it's a great way for me to fill in some of these pages to make them look pretty. I've got them all ready to hand, and I'm emptying my basket at the same time. So I'm going to make a start. I'm going to do one. Now the other day I was printing out for the videos that I've just done with the classical book covers and the vintage book covers for the last lot of videos. My printer was not behaving. It was printing them out terribly, and I could not for the life of me figure out what was wrong with them. And it turns out, in fact, where's that signature I've just pulled out? Let's start on that one. It was printing them really badly, and I thought, oh, you know what this means, don't you, Carl? Because I've had this printer, no, I want that one. I've had this printer a number of years now. It's just an inkjet printer. Lost it. There it is. And I thought, do you know what? That's it. It's on its way out. I'm going to have to get a new one. couldn't make up my mind which new one to get. I'm just going to pull some colours out that are similar. Anyway, it was the printer settings on the computer that were wrong, and so it was printing them all funny. So that was one of the covers, and I've ripped it up and threw it away, and then I thought, hang on a minute, use it in a collage. So I'm going to make this my red page. So I'm going to choose some reds and some beiges and golds, just a random assortment. Is that too bright? We'll see. Might even add some text in there as well. I don't want to put green in because it'll start to look like it's meant to be a Christmas page, and I don't want it to be a Christmas page. So yeah, so I was printing all these background pages out and they were looking really dull. Hi there, Kathy. So it took me ages to work out that it was the printer settings that was wrong. I might be able to get away with using that one as well. Okay, let me just put these to one side and I'll show you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to use a couple of different glues. So I'm going to use my glue stick. Now for us here in the UK, we use a brand called Pritt Sticks. I think I've thrown the other one away. Just bear with me one second. I also use this Scotch one as well. So I use those two excuse me, glue sticks, and then once everything's all in sort of place, I will then use my matte gel medium to seal it all in place. Okay, now again, when it comes to doing collaging of any sort really, everyone tries to be artistic with how they're placing their papers on the page, and to be honest, it doesn't matter too much because you're building it up as you go along, and by the time you've chopped it up it looks nothing like the original anyway, and then you're going to be adding stuff on top of it, so why worry? So I think I'm going to start off with those two pieces there, and I've also got, put them in the front as well. We'll put that underneath the page so that when I start gluing and it goes beyond the page, then at least it's going to land on the doings. I'm not going to get it everywhere else. So this is just deli wrap, greaseproof paper. Thinking about it too hard, Natalie, that's probably what it is, why she's not happy with it. As I say, when I was gluing all of those in, I was like, oh, I don't know about if that one goes there and whether that looks right. But as I say, by the time you've cut it up, and by the time you've added all your extra decorations on top, you probably won't see half of this. I was shouting at you to use the marble paper, hope you heard. No, I didn't hear you, Max, you'll have to shout louder. And I'm going to go beyond the page as well, because I can always trim off the excess afterwards. I'm going to glue that bit down there. And I think sometimes when you're collaging, I think if you choose too many colours as well, that throws you. So I think if you keep it to a limited palette of colours, I think that it gives you more confidence as you start to build up and do more. So, you know, even just limit yourself to one or two colours, you know, just do one in black, white and grey, and see how that turns out. But once you start adding loads of different colours, it gets a little bit crazy. A little bit crazy mazy. Okay, let's use this one. Now, can you see how I've ripped that? So I ripped it this way. If I rip it back on itself, so if I rip it back on itself that way, look, it will end up not having all the white that it's got here. Now, if you want to ink these up before you stick them down, then you can do. You know, life's too short, and I'm not going to bother. And I'm lazy. And sometimes, depending on the way that the fibres have been laid when they've made the paper, sometimes it rips higgledy-piggledy, and sometimes it rips lovely and straight. Not a lot you can do about that. Unless you wet it, but these are inkjet printed, so it means if I add water to them, the ink is all going to smudge. And I think the other mistake that a lot of people make as well is they do loads of tiny bits instead of adding some bigger pieces, and it's just a case of, it's a little bit like building a jigsaw, you know. I've always loved doing jigsaws, and in fact, you know, when I was pregnant, you know, when everyone has these weird cravings, Mum was doing jigsaws. What was that all about? Don't know what that was all about, but yeah, couldn't get enough of doing jigsaws. Let me just use this piece as well. So use some big bits, some little bits. I'm going to try and keep the straight edges against the straight edge of the page so it makes it easier for cutting. I think I might add a piece up there. Overlap them. Now, I'm not going to go across the page. I'm not going to cut across and stick on both pages because of the fact that I'm probably going to be ripping these out. It'll just make it more difficult if I've got paper going across as well. Okay, let's add a bit of gold. Stick that way. Oh, wrong glue. Just having a read. It's a long way from Scotland, Max. Get a megaphone. I do like those plum wine reds. Jackie, I think keeping the same colour palette is the key. Yeah, because as I say, if you start to go, you know, a bit wild and wonderful with your colour palette, that's where you lose confidence with yourself, because you just look at it afterwards and it just looks like kindergarten, playgroup age have done it, you know, just thrown all this paint and stuff to the page. You want to give it a little bit of consideration, but not too much. Use that thin bit in a minute. I'll have another big bit here. So as I say, it's just about building it up bit by bit, stopping every so often and just having a look and going, oh, actually, yeah, that looks all right, and I think I need a bigger bit there and a smaller bit there. So as I say, like putting a jigsaw together. And don't always feel that you've got to rush, you know, just take your time. Enjoy the process. There's no right and wrong. It's all about having some fun, you know. We're not all, you know, We're not all Monets, Da Vinci's, you know, we're not them people. We're just a load of people sat at home doing a bit of crafting, some of us for a living, some of us just for fun. Enjoy it. And stop being so hard on yourselves. Otherwise, what's the point? And like the cooking, you know, like we were saying earlier, like the cooking, the more you do, the better you'll get. Don't expect to be fantastically brilliant first time round. And those people whose videos you watch and you think, oh, I can never be as good as that, they've probably been doing it a long time, you know? Okay, let's have a bit of this red in there, I think. You know, so I've got a straight edge and a straight edge there. But what I can do is I'll overlap that bit there. Right, so that'll overlap there, and that'll get rid of that white bit. And then I can cut, I can rip this bit off here, so that I'm not having two straight edges together. Right, so I'll add that there. Now, you might look at this and think, oh, that looks really lovely, Carol. But there are others who will look at this and think, that is bloody awful. That's not my cup of tea at all. And that's fine. Because if we all loved the same stuff, we'd all live in a pretty boring world, wouldn't we? So, you know. What's the saying about one man's something is another man's? Die cut with a view paper, Max. That was from that paper pad, and this one. That's from Die Cuts with a View as well. In fact, I think I might put that one on there. So if I rip that there, rip this bottom bit off here, and rip this bit down there. One's man meat is another man's poison. There you go. Thank you very much. Marilyn's put, I lived near Oshawa for over 40 years. Used to take drives up there. Now I'm living in Fort Erie to be near my 90-year-old mum. Okay, let's stick this one on. Just going to fold this over so I don't keep getting glue on the fronts. I've lost my glue. There it is. So as I put each piece down, it kind of dictates to me, oop, come on, what bit needs to go next. There we go, that's that. So I can see, look, I've got this space down here. So I could add two bits, or two bits that way, or I could add some of these little tiny pieces, because these are all fairly big. So I could add those on, and that gets rid of them. And any other tiny little pieces I can overlap at junctions. So we'll add those on there. In fact, I'm not going to put that one on because I want a longish one there, I think. Yeah, but I will add that one on. So as I say, just stop, have a look, see what you think. Think about what papers you've got at the side of you that you want to use up, what can go where. Put that one on. And it doesn't matter if the writing's the wrong way up. No information is useless, Julie. It's just not needed yet. I don't know what that was about. Okay, let's have a look, see how we're doing. So maybe that piece could go on there. Yep, that'll do for me, Tommy. That can go on there. So how many of you have had to go at collaging? And how many of you have liked doing it? And how many of you have liked or not liked what you've done? I'll put that bit there. Fill up a big splodge of that space. These are some of this is my favourite shade of red. I'm not a great lover of orangey reds. I like burgundy type reds. You know, old Victorian sort of reds. I know I'm old because I get injured by sleeping. Not that I'd ever accuse Carol of advanced aged. Just an observation. Done it very badly, didn't like. It's grown on me. Love watching you create. It gives me confidence to just go for it. Well, as I say, it's not until you've tried it and you've done it a few times that you can go, actually, do you know what? That's not my thing. And because we're using up our rubbish that we would have ordinarily thrown away, it doesn't matter if you've got it wrong. It doesn't matter one bit. Okay, I want some more colours in there, I think. I think that is... Oh, actually, maybe not. Maybe it will go. Maybe we will have a little piece of it down there. Okay. And I know that this gives me a nice feathery edge on this paper. First time tuning into your channel. Seems very pleasant, positive and relaxing. Well, thank you very much, Suzanne. We try our best. We do not always succeed. But we try. Because it's just about, you know, having a bit of fun, isn't it? Love collaging. And what a great idea. Throw away. We're supposed to throw bits away. Yes, you're allowed. There is nowhere in the American Constitution or in the British laws to say that you have to keep all your scraps. You know, there does come a point where you just can't keep everything. You'd be buried alive. Okay. Now I don't like the fact that that is forming one long line there, so I'm going to break that up in a minute, but I want a piece that's going to go in here, so I'm just going to have a rummage through my bits, see what we've got. See if I've got any more reddish colours in here. Ooh. That might be a bit too thick. Be a bit of book page. Keep that out. Right. Have a look in the little bits tray. Let's have a look at you. So maybe adding a bit of text. Let's add a bit of that. Right there. So I think that bit there, and I'm not worried that it's upside down, just adds a little bit of fun to it. What's that from Sally? I've never done collage. I love to watch you guys do it though. I am a wannabe paper crafter. I do crochet and lots of it. You know, the thing is, we all do what we love, don't we? I mean, I used to be an embroidery designer many years ago. I was also chair lady of a patchwork and quilting group. So I've done that in the past as well. I can crochet a square, just. My granddaughter has just recently taken up crochet. I taught her how to do it, and she's kind of taken to it. And my daughter's got into knitting, but yeah, I think it's just nice rather than just sitting. Oh, I didn't want green, did I? So I don't want it to look Christmassy. I just think it's nice to do something creative. I'm going to put that one on the right way up this time. I'll just slot in that place in there quite nicely. Glue there. Because at the end of the day, as I say, what this is all about is about you getting some relaxation and enjoyment from it. And if you're not enjoying it, then it's not for you. Or maybe you just need to practice a bit more. Okay. I think. Oh, what's that bit? Oh, just a piece of brown. No, boring. What's that? Ooh, bit of a Tim Holtzy piece, which might come in handy for breaking some of this up. No, maybe not. I think I might need some thin bits from there. Plus, it might go there. And then I need a little piece for there. See what I mean by, like, it's a jigsaw. So looking at that, I can see that this looks nice there, which then leaves me with a little space there and a little piece of this dark red. It's far enough away from that you know, they're not right next door to each other. So in fact, I'm going to do that as a strip going across, and then that can then sit on top. And so I want to rip that about there. So I'll bung a bit of glue on that. Now I have got lined up another video for some more collaging, and that really is a case of you just bung it on the page. Now I'm not going to go into an explanation of it now, because I'll go through that when I actually do the video and the reasoning behind it. So if you don't want to do this more thoughtful collaging, then the other one might be good for you. I think I might put a tiny bit of text down there. In fact, let me put this down there. That maybe, and that on top. Yeah, that'll do for me. You see how I'm putting a little bit on this page and a little bit on this page, just building it up bit by bit. Oh, actually, do I want it plain, or do I want it pattern side up? I actually think I prefer it plain. So maybe keep that, because I want to use that side, and maybe just use hang on, a piece of coffee dyed paper there. I'm just having a look on the screen in front of me because it gives you a better view. So if I do a slightly narrower, I'm going to rip this. And then the other thing you can do with the thin strips as well is sit it on top of your glue stick like this, put your thumb on and then pull it through, and it will just run it over the top of the glue. But it does end up on your thumb as well. I'm going to put that on there. Down there. So that's that one kind of filled. I don't want to cover that over. I'm quite happy with that being a nice big area. I want a little piece for in here. So, where's that? I think that's too thin, isn't it? I still want to break this up. I think that if I add a square of that, if I put that on there, that breaks that line down a little there. I could even, again, break that line down. Yeah, don't have to go right the way across. Let's do that. A little bit of that. A bit on here. Let's lift that edge up. I didn't stick it down too well. There we go. Slot that in there. Right, a little bit down there. Could be that. Could be that. Will be that. And then I'm going to call this one done. And whilst you're watching telly, you know, watching a film or whatever, you can set this up on your knee or on a table at the side of you and just be messing about. Now, from that paper stack, that's what I'm throwing away. Gonna keep you, gonna keep you, gonna keep you, gonna keep you, and you, and you, and you, and you. So instead of throwing all those bits of papers away, I'm just throwing those two bits of paper away. Tell a lie. And keeping that one and throwing them two. So that's my bit for saving the planet. Is I'm just going to throw those bits away. Right, so that's my pages now, collage. Bye bye to everyone who's going off. It's been lovely having you here. Thank you. It doesn't look anything like until you've added any kind of embellishments. But at this stage of the game, I don't want to add any embellishments until I decide whether I'm going to have it as tags, postcards, whatever. Or whether I'm just going to make it into a pretty book of pretty papers and then do other collaging of bigger elements, like paper dolls and stuff on top. I'm not going to make that decision. So at the moment it doesn't look too much. In fact, I think I need a little bit of that red over there to bring it in to play so that this page doesn't feel lonely. So, do I want it there? I don't want it there. I think I'm going to put it there. So yeah, you won't see the beauty in it until you add all those extra bits and pieces to it. But as I say, it's a great way of getting rid of and emptying out those boxes. And it's not taken me long to do this. Bearing in mind I've been yabbering as well. You know? There we go, that's better, a bit more balanced. And one of the things that you can do, if I can just find it, there we go. Sorry, I've just knocked the camera. Is I have got this Stabilo aquarelle pencil. I don't know whether you can see that okay. Okay, 8045, and it's brown. And what you can do is it's a really soft pencil, so you can just go around and draw around some of the lines, and especially the straighter ones. You don't have to cover all the lines, you can just do some of them. And because it's an aquarelle pencil, it means that you can just add a little bit of water or spit on your finger, whatever tickles your fancy, and it will end up smudging those lines to give it that little bit of depth. It gives it a more 3D look. And again, having done that, it then again starts to bring it together a little bit more. Okay, it starts to look a little bit something more like what you were expecting. Okay, I'm just doing them like really randomly, not giving them much thought about it. And I'll show you the page that I'd already done. Oh, off we come. So that was a page where I've drawn some of these lines on, and I didn't smudge them too much. I also had a couple of graphic 45 butterflies just stuffed in my box, so I've just added those. But those are the kind of embellishments that you add on later once you take this out, decide that you're going to use it for tags and postcards and stuff, whatever it is you decide to make with them. But I like the brown as opposed to a black because it's much softer. It's a softer colour. Let me just check to see if I've got any of my water brushes to hand with any water in. I don't know if I've got any with actual water in. I think I emptied them all out. Let me just water. Let's just tip a little bit in this cap. Just so as you can get the effect. That's that page I've just done. So again, if I show you up close, you can see those lines, yeah, that I've drawn with the pencil. So let's just dip that in there, and then as soon as I start to wet it and smudge it, you see sorry, holding it mid-air is not making it easy. And then you can wipe it with your finger, pull a bit off. But it just helps to blend those lines and give it that little bit of definition. And at the moment it's dark because it's wet. So don't suddenly go like, oh, I've ruined it, because you haven't. Because as I say, by the time you've cut it up and you've added all your other bits and pieces on top of this, you know, you won't even remember what papers you stuck down in the first instance. So that's kind of what it looks like up close if you actually wet it with the water. But any kind of watercolour based pencil, but they tend to be called aquarelle pencils. So let me just find the word for you again. So that's it there. Okay, so any kind of water-soluble pencils, got all that glue on my thumb, will work in the same kind of fashion. And as I say, I tend to go for brown rather than a black. I just find the black a bit harsh. And then I can turn the page over, trim off all this excess that's overhanging the edge. Okay, do the same on that side. So let's do that bit now. Let me move that water because I am likely to knock it over. See how this is a bit loose here, look? So I could put some of that micro pour on there to make that into a sturdier page. Okay. Do that. A bit at the top. Oh. Yeah, spin it round again. Just a little bit of overhang there. And then do the same on this one. And then, as I say, if I do a couple of pages, you know, each time I get this out, eventually I will whittle that pile over there down so that it's not so overwhelming. And I want to do that edge. Because sometimes I think if you've got too much of anything, again, you start to get a bit overwhelmed with it all, you know, and then you do nothing with it at all. So there we go. And then what I would do, I'm not going to do it now, but I would then get either a PVA glue. Some of you like Mod Podge. I personally don't like it, but you know, might be your cup of tea. But I like the matte gels. So I would then give this a coat of this acrylic matte gel medium to just seal it all as well, because I can still paint on top of that. I can still, you know, add and glue other things on top of it, but I just thought it was a nice way of making a collection of nice collage pages that I can either tear out and use, or I could decorate every single page in this book, in this diary, and then go and add other pieces on top of it and have it just completely as an art, almost like an art journal page, but it would all be collage and stuff. So yeah, so those are the pages that I've done in it so far. This isn't something that you're going to be seeing every week. I will bring it in to show you every so often, to show you how I'm getting on with it. But it's a great way of using up those diaries as well that you never write in, or that you can get from the works for 25p. So I've done 3 pages in there so far. Excuse me. It's because my throat's going dry because I've been chatting too much. Okay. Oh. So thank you very much for joining me today. As I say, I wasn't going to keep you too long, and I've been here for what? What time is it now? Oh, we've been here nearly an hour and a half. Whoopsie, sorry. Thought it'd only be about an hour. So I hope that's given you a little bit more insight into creating some collage pages, and some of the thought processes for it. I hope it's given you an idea of what you can use your old diaries for, because I'm coming to realise that I am not one for journal writing. I like making journals and I like pretty pictures and I love gorgeous colours, but when it comes to writing in a journal, not my thing. Just not my thing. So, there we go. Any questions from anybody? Are you all okay? Maureen's put the colours come together beautifully, thank you. Jackie's put, really enjoyed it, Carol. My one is the best I've ever done. I may have an order from the works coming. Enabler. I've ordered about half a dozen of those calendars with the diaries in. Sturdy's put thank you, you're very welcome. Cindy, so glad I got to catch you today. So am I, Cindy, it's been lovely to have you here. So if any of you are new, thank you very much for joining me. I hope that you will maybe consider subscribing to the channel and giving me a thumbs up. Even after the video has finished and I put it on a replay, you might want to leave me some comments, some nice comments, not horrible comments. Nobody likes those horrible comments. Raggedy Girls put, I love this time with Carol and your craft and new crafters. Blessings to you all. Thank you very much, Raggedy. We're all just swooning over this. Thank you, Max. Thank you for the inspiration, Carol. That was fantastic. You're very welcome, Kim. What colour pencils with blues, greys and yellows, Carol? Probably a blue or a grey. But I wouldn't go like a royal blue. Grey would be nice, but again, wouldn't go black. Wouldn't use brown with it. Okay guys, I'm off to go and make myself a lovely hot cup of tea because I can feel that my throat's drying up. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. It's been lovely to have you all here with me. If you've got any friends that you think might be interested in coming to come and watch and join on some of the lives, which I tend to do only intermittently on either a Sunday night or a Wednesday night. Here in the UK it's night time. It's 8:30 in the evening for us here in the UK. Okay guys, thank you very much, and I'll see you all again really soon. And also it's the pop-up shop this weekend, so there's some lovely goodies coming up in the pop-up shop, which is on my Facebook group. So if any of you want to join the Facebook group, please answer the 3 questions, otherwise I won't let you in. But I have a pop-up shop once a month where I sell you some goodies, and yes, I do send abroad as well. Anyway, that's it. I'm prattling on again. Okay, thanks for joining me. See you all again really soon. Bye for now. I'm gonna be a little while finding the X to switch you all off. Okay, I've found it. Bye. Love you. Love you. See you soon. Bye. Bye.